Alright, guys, today I come with Vikings Godhead. Now, I've never read a Titans book, Titan Comics, but I gotta say, I love how they do the covers in terms of. Wrong finger. Let me see if I can get this to focus. And it tells you what cover it is, cover A, B, whatever. And then if it's not a photo cover, down here at the bottom, it prints out who did the cover. So you don't have to go searching for initials or looking it up online if you don't see anything. Also, paper quality, magnificent. Thick paper, glossy feel. Best paper I've ever read. The story. This takes place, I forget what season. I want to say season 2.5, 3, somewhere in that area. It's when Ragnar is married to what was her name? Asla, whatever, somewhere her name is. And she stays home while he raids with Earl Inkstad, who we all know as Lagatha, and Rollo and Floki. So they're over there in England, and they end up taking a job for I forget the king that's there in Wessex. I forget his name. Awesome character on the show. He wants them to take out other Vikings who are raiding to the south of them. They don't know who they are. So Ragnar, who wants peace and land in England, agrees to this. Floki hates it. And they end up sailing to the south. Issue 2. Meanwhile, in Kattegat, there's some dissension in the ranks. There's a girl. People are calling her everything from witch to husband stealer to thief. And she gets judged. She takes one of those stupid tests that all the primitive people have. Judge your innocence or guilt by holding on to something that's really hot. And in a few days, if it doesn't heal, you're guilty. Throughout the series, she ends up trying to poke needles at all the women who stayed behind. Telling them that the Kattegat is cursed. Ragnar left them. And at the end, she ends up getting hers. But in terms of in England, when they land, they're met by a Saxon force. And of course, Floki's your Christian has betrayed you and all this. And it turns out to be one of the nobles who took it upon himself to attack them. Of course, the Vikings win, end up taking the son of one of the big shots hostage, and they end up going and defeating the Vikings. It's a Floki cover that they were meant to go defeat. They, instead of killing the leader, they take him hostage. I should say prisoner. Floki is upset by this because they're denying him Valhalla. And they end up going back to Wessex with the prisoner and a letter for the king telling him what happened with the noble. And from out of nowhere, Ragnar asked the king to show mercy on the noble who attacked him, because that's what Jesus would do. Caught in that corner, the king had to agree. And then this was all a setup because Floki frees the leader of the Vikings that they all defeated. And they end up, of course, getting caught again. And Ragnar ends up asking the king, I'm forgetting his name for some reason, to show mercy on Floki as he did with Noble, because that's what Jesus would do. And this was all a plan by Ragnar to complete his task of bringing that Viking to justice in the Christian eyes and end up giving Valhalla to the leader, I forget his name, of the other Vikings by killing him in combat so that he can have Valhalla. He was able to satisfy both ideologies. And that's what happens in this issue, issue 4. You see Lagatha and Ragnar there in the photo cover. I picked these up from Midtown. They were having a $1 sale. And I'm glad to have these 2 photo covers, because if they ever do signings, I'm definitely having these signed. And I also have another set, it's called Uprising, but I only have 3 out of the 4. So as soon as I get the 4th, I'll read that one. And if I remember right from the timeline, Godhead came before that. So I haven't read ahead. It's a great show. Check it out if you haven't watched it. And it's definitely not one of those shows where, you know, they spend 7 seasons and everyone still looks the same and everyone's still the same age. There's time jumps. There's characters that get old and die or just die, and new characters come in, new generation. So in terms of that, it's very realistic. And of course they throw in their whole mythology, things like that, because it's Vikings. But great show. Nice story. I would have enjoyed it better if I read it during the seasons when it took place. But great paper quality. And like I said, great stuff that they put on the cover, let people know exactly what it is. So look forward to testing out more Titan comics. I don't even know if they're in business or not. But I'll see you guys later, and I'm going to answer that phone.